So, the dark self-improvement secret that no one is talking about in the self-improvement community, the last secret, is something called faith. And now, hold on, calm down. I know. You think I'm talking about, Jesus and God and all that kind of shit, like Islam, all that stuff. No. It's not the exact same thing. What I'm going to teach you today is first, why faith is an emotion. Second, I'm going to teach you how faith works and why it's going to help you. And third, I'm going to teach you the last step, like the next step of, let's say, human evolution, and how we can go like all the way down to almost God consciousness and not even need faith, not even need your thoughts, all that kind of stuff. But it's like heavy stuff. I hope you're ready for this. All right. And by the way, sorry for the old viewers. I've been away for a bit. I don't have any excuse. I've just been procrastinating. I've been playing Valorant a bit too much. But I got plat. So if you're lower than that, don't talk to me, please. All right. And if you're higher than that, come on, be a bit humble. Don't try and flex on me, please. Come on, guys. So, the first step, the first thing to understand, faith is an emotion. By the way, even if I have been procrastinating and playing video games, I've still kept on learning because it is what it is. Like I'm looking to reach God consciousness at some point. It's crazy shit, man. It's really crazy, really fucking crazy shit. Sorry, I can't talk anymore. It's been too long. So, the reason faith, is an emotion, is because think about it. What is faith? What is faith? Faith is emotional conviction. Now, I took that from a guy called Nero Knowledge, but he himself took that from a book called 3 Magic Words. So, hey, I'm gonna steal it. I'm gonna say the same thing. Who cares? Emotional conviction. What is emotional conviction? When you go to a football game, and when I say football, I don't mean American football, okay? If you're American, chill out. You're the only country who calls it that way when it's not the same sport. I'm sorry. So a football game, a basketball game, I don't know, like a punching game or whatever it is, right? A sparring, whatever it is. And you absolutely know you're stronger than the other guys or the other guy or whatever, right? Like, you're going to win this competition. Do you go in stressed or do you go in relaxed? It's as simple as that. I'm going to assume if you're confident you're going to beat them, you absolutely know you will, but because maybe they suck or maybe you're just too strong for them, you're going to be relaxed. And in my old videos, I would go back to this a lot to relaxed, peace, joy. But I tend to take joy out of the thing because those two relate better. Because joy can be seen as like excitement, like bliss or something like that. But those two make way more sense in terms of faith. Because you're not super excited or like in full bliss when you're going to dispute a match. Maybe afterwards, but before, you're just relaxed. If you know you're going to win, you're just going in like it's a normal Thursday, right? And that's the important word, knowing. That's what faith is. That's what emotional conviction. That's what emotional conviction is. It's knowing that you already have what you want. You get what I mean? Like, if you're going to a basketball game and you know you're going to beat them, you know you already have the victory. So you don't go in stress. You go in relaxed. So the emotion of faith is relaxation and peace. Now, why does it matter? So, Let me check my little bullet point. Right. The materializing power of faith through quote-unquote God. I put it in quotes because you can use a bunch of names for God, like the infinite, universal, subconscious mind, pure consciousness. There's so many fucking names that kind of speak of the same entity, the same being. I've talked, if you've seen my video before about thoughts, about thought control, I've talked about how if you control your thoughts, you're going to attract a certain reality because your thoughts have a certain density, right? Let's say that's the thought, the T. And if you keep having this thought, right, over and over again, at some point, atoms that have the same, let's say, frequency as this thought are going to be attracted to it. But the reason a thought has a frequency to begin with is because of the emotion it contains. No matter how much you want to, control it, if you're leaving your brain on automation, on autopilot, sorry, your emotions are going to contain a certain emotion, no matter what. Like, whether you control it or not, it's going to have an emotion. So the emotion is what creates the frequency. The frequency is what creates, it what attracts the other atoms, which end up making the thoughts dense enough so that you can actually see it with your eyes. If you don't understand this concept very well, go to my thought control video afterwards, but stay with me for now, okay? I think I've left it simple enough to understand. The only thing you need to do from now on is to put faith that this thought is either happening or has already happened. So let me explain. Let's say you want money. That's what most of us want, right? Let's say you want money. So it's a money thought, empty. Now, when you have this money thought, let's say you're thinking of being in a luxurious house. Let's say that. You can have the frequency of it being this awesome thing, like this crazy awesome thing, right? So let's say joy, that's a J, okay? Joy, excitement, this kind of stuff. You can also have the frequency of worry or fear. The worry of never actually having this thing that's in the thought, or the fear of losing it afterwards, or like to, I don't know, to get scammed once you have the money, or to have to do horrible things to have the money, all this kind of stuff, right? And finally, you can have the frequency of relaxation and peace, which would be pretty much, I don't know, you're imagining being in your house and you're just imagining watching TV with, I don't know, with your wife or with your kids, and it's just a normal day for you. This house is nothing special to you. That would be imagining it as if you already had it. The other way is you imagine this way, right? But then instead of thinking as if you already had it, you just think as if, how could I say it? As if it's already coming. Because you have the faith that God is kind of, he's putting you on, God's got you. Well, let's say got your back. God's got your back. Because, I mean, if God's got your back, why stress over it? If you know, that's it. You've thought the thought, you've relaxed over it, you're thinking it most of the time, and now you're just living your life. And you know God is, like, in the background, God is doing his thing. And again, when I say God, I don't mean God of Christianity or Islam or whatever, or any particular religion. I mean this being that's infinite and that's everywhere, that is pure consciousness and making the universe. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, again, go back to the other videos. I don't have this many videos, but the last two maybe. If you know God's got your back, then most of your days, you're just going to spend them doing your things in a relaxed way. You're going to take action. You're going to have this idea about how to advance your career, advance your business, and you're going to realize, oh shit, yeah, probably something God just sent me. And you're just going to follow it. And if it fails, you're not going to see it as, oh shit, I'm so bad, like, I can't make this work, blah, blah. You're just going to see it as, okay, that's just a step. That's just a step in the path that God is putting like in front of me. I know it sounds a lot like Christianity and all that stuff, but it's deeper than that this time. It's not just saying it, it's believing it, it's knowing it. Again, this already coming, this God's got your back, comes from the emotion of faith, comes from the emotion of relaxation and peace. That faith is, that emotional conviction. I know I'm kind of repeating myself, but it's so that it enters your cranium completely. Again, either you believe it's already coming and that's what makes you relaxed, or you imagine you already have it, which is what makes you relaxed. Choose one of both. It really depends. I've tried both. I would say the already coming thing can be a bit frustrating. Wait, can you hear that? Wait, who cares? Can be a bit frustrating because, you know, day by day you're like, but when is it coming? And is it really this? Is it really God's plan or not? But it's kind of a control thing. You have to control your thoughts and just believe in it, like know that it's coming. And the other one can be a problem because sometimes you're like, yeah, I'm already jacked. And then you look at your body in the mirror and there's this thought that's going to come, but that's going to be like, yeah, but you're lying to yourself. So both have their pros and cons. You're going to have to test both out and you see what makes you the most relaxed, what makes you able to just live your life in the present. I hope that the noise isn't too, like there's a guy drilling right now. So now, if you've watched all the videos about this subject, you know about love and the will that allow you to control what thoughts you think. You know about the power of thought and how it materializes into reality. And you know about faith and the kind of amplificator. Is that how you say it? Well, the kind of boost that it puts on the thoughts. Like you can have thoughts that, you know, that are in the right direction, but if you don't have the right emotional like baggage behind it, the right emotional strength behind it, it might not give you as much of a boost. But when you know how to boost your emotions by being relaxed, by being at peace about this thought, then it comes way faster. Now, the third point is, I think, the most important one. Right. The next step in human evolution, God consciousness. Apparently there might be something even further, which is called like unity consciousness and all that kind of stuff, but let's just keep God consciousness because it sounds cooler. Let's be real. Now, we've been told, right, the next step in human evolution is like, I don't know, AI, it's bionic members, like cybernetic engineering and like improvements in our brain, all that shit. But the more I'm studying, the more I believe the next step in human evolution is going to be spiritual. It's going to be about consciousness. And not the consciousness that most like feminists talk about, like raise your consciousness, but more of a unity mindset. Because when you understand how the universe works, again, go back to the video about how I explain it, like thought control and all that stuff, and the other one as well. When you understand how the universe works, you understand that we are all one. We all come from the same base field, and field in terms of science, right? Science itself right now, I think the universe is made from 4 things, like 4 major things, let's say that. Gravity, electromagnetism, and strong and weak nuclear forces. I know I'm getting a bit too technical, so like that's the third and that's the fourth, okay? That's like 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm not gonna go any deeper than that in terms of the science thing because I don't understand it on a deeper level like that, but I understand the concept of it. This is what constitutes, I think, like 96% of the universe, something like that. And so far, the scientific, like the big ass scientific crowd, like the ones who really are like smart asses, they discovered that electromagnetism, strong and weak nuclear forces, come from the same field. A field is the base that then transforms into something else. So let's say we discover that there are particles that are even smaller than atoms, and below those particles, there are fields. And then you add something to this field and it becomes a particle. It becomes material. But the fields itself are not material. Like you can't observe them like that. It's more like, it's a bit complicated. I don't even understand it completely. But basically it's like the foundation even lower than particles. They haven't been able to prove gravity yet, only because they don't have, I think it's in Switzerland, there's something called the Large Hadron Collider, which is a big laboratory where they test theories about the universe. They test them like materially in the material world, right, in the physical world. But they don't have enough technological advancements to be able to test it with gravity. But the theory is that they are actually all from the same universal field. It would be called super unification, I think. Yeah, so far they are only at grand unification because they have the 3, and being able to prove that gravity comes from the same one would be super unification, which means they would all come from one universal field. Sorry. Once you discover that even science is going towards this, you can understand God is basically a being that is everywhere. And we would be only the equivalent of neurons in God's brain. We would be an idea of God, and we became because he just thought us up. Like he thought, humans, and we became reality. Because he's not confined to space and time, all that shit. I know I'm kind of rambling, but that shit is fucking interesting. I hope you're being a bit like light bulbing away, you know what I mean? The next evolution comes down to this. So far in human history, and even in animal history, we've been evolving, right? At first, we were like a speck of dust. Then maybe we became a jellyfish. I'm gonna keep it simple, actually. Let me just take this out. Jellyfish. Then fucking fish. Then a sort of lizard. Then a mammal. Oops. Then primate. And we became a dude. Simple, right? I know you might not believe in the theory of evolution. I don't give a shit. I'm just trying to make a point here. Well, the point I'm trying to make is, throughout all of these phases, our consciousness have been increasing. When we were dust, when we were dust, we were here. Very low consciousness, right? We would still have atoms that make choices to like bind with other atoms. So there is still consciousness in there, but very little. And then we became a jellyfish, a bit higher. And so on and so on and so on and so on until we became, we're not here. Let's not say we're here. But we're like here, a dude. Maybe we're like, technically this distance is like 10 times higher than this one. You know what I mean? Like, because it's this little speck of knowledge that we're missing that actually expands it to the whole universe. But our journey has always been to increase our consciousness, to get closer to God, to get closer to that entity that made us, that entity that's all-knowing, that's all-powerful. But knowledge is important here. When you know everything and when you are everything, then you're already nothing, and you're also one with everything. So the goal of the next step of evolution is to get close enough to God to reach unity. Unity with God, but then when you reach unity with God, you reach unity with everything else, because God is everything. And one of the things I've been trying to get there is something called transcendental meditation. So the whole point is you use a sort of mantra. You probably heard about mantras before, but you use it not to have like a certain kind of magical thing, like a lot of people say, but more to calm your mind down. The mantra becomes more and more subtle and more silent in your own mind until you reach a point of simply being. That's the first step of this whole kind of consciousness expanding thing. Once you're able to just be, your mind becomes silent. You don't perceive anything with your usual senses. Most of the time when we think shit, we think it with a human mind. We think it by seeing images, by hearing something, by smelling, tasting, all that stuff. Most of the time, hearing and seeing, but some people are more particular. But when you're just being, because being is not about your body, being is about the internal God inside of you. It's about the being inside of you that's just witnessing shit. I know it's a bit weird, but it is true. Your mind becomes silent. And once your mind becomes silent, comes the next possible step to reach, which is expansion. Expansion is when you start feeling the unity with other things. So maybe at first it might just be the things you're in contact with. You can only do it with what's in contact with your body or that you can perceive in front of you. Right? Maybe I can start feeling the ground and being the ground, this kind of stuff. Basically, you start being other things. Now, I haven't reached the point where I know how to do the second step. Right now, I'm trying to look for this one through this thing, transcendental meditation. There are other things that apparently allow you to do that, but it seems to be the simpler one. I'm not going to explain in detail. I've already explained it a little bit, but you can just type on YouTube transcendental meditation, and there should be some explanation on there. So don't go for the ones where it's transcendental meditation, like the YouTube channel, because they're just selling their formations, their training. There are guys who actually explain it for free on YouTube. Now you might be thinking like, whoa, you went into spiritual shit like crazy, blah, blah. It sounds a bit woo-woo, blah, blah. But think about it for 2 seconds. When you talk about self-improvement, most of the time we come from a place of ego. We come from a place of, we want to be recognized by others, right? We're like, let's say we're here, right? That's you. And we want to get here where, we have money, we have a girlfriend, we have a good body, B for body. And now people recognize us, like maybe we're famous, like status. And now people recognize us and we feel happy because people recognize us. Right? People think, oh, wow, you're so impressive, blah, 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 blah. But if you think about it for 2 seconds, self-improvement doesn't only rely on improvement. It relies on self. And when you go a bit deeper into the self, you realize that your ego, which means the memories you have of your time on Earth, right? The memories you have with this body, is only bunch of memories that you had about pain and pleasure. Think about it for 2 seconds. Every one of your memories is only pain and pleasure. And what made you feel pain and what made you feel pleasure. And from those memories, you're just making decisions to try and not feel pain and feel as much pleasure as possible. Once you realize that ego isn't really your real self. Ego is just the persona that you've taken on to avoid pain and go for pleasure. But when you realize that you are actually God, that when you're going to die, you're probably just going to come back to being God, but that you can achieve being God while you're still alive, or at least get closer to this state, then this shit doesn't matter anymore. Not that you won't want it, you can want it, but this shit is material now. This shit is of the lowest priority. Just think about it. Just think about it. Compare having money with being God. I mean, I'm not even true. Like, I don't even need to think about it. Like, I'm being God. Because if you're God, then you just, imagine you're just being, right? Your mind is silent, you've expended, you're like full on peace, absolute peace, you're one with everything. Don't you think the moment you think about money, the moment you desire money just a little bit, you're like, some money would be good right now. Why not? Money would fucking appear out of nowhere. Like, you'd fucking find a bag of money on the ground. I know I'm kind of abusing it, but some people have actually done that. That's what I'm trying to say. Maybe, instead of chasing the material side, understand that the material side is simply a result of the spiritual one. How could I say it? Spiritual before material. And that's why I explained to you the whole unified field thing. Because if you realize that the unified field, in the scientific terms, is simply pure consciousness, you realize that your consciousness as God, right? Like the consciousness that you need to discover a bit. This consciousness is what creates everything that is material. Everything you see right now is simply consciousness frozen in time. I'm stealing this from Neo Knowledge as well, but it is what it is. It's simply something that a guy thought a bit, like a few years ago, maybe even a lot of time ago, and it ended up materializing at some point here. And the stronger your consciousness is, the stronger your sense of being is, the easier it gets to materialize anything. I mean, it's fucking motivating to me. Like, I want to reach that kind of consciousness so that then I can teach it to other people. I can fucking have the best body I want. I can have a girlfriend, the best girlfriend I want. I can, what was that? I can make money as much as I want. Easy. I just serve others, help them with consciousness and all that kind of shit, and I make money. I can have status, all I want it. But the crazy thing is, if you reach that state, those things, you'll have them plenty. It won't be hard, but you'll want them so little that even once you have them, it won't matter much because you'll already be at full peace. Because that's what we're trying to do, isn't it? A lot of people will say, yeah, I want freedom. Yeah, I want love. All this kind of thing. At the end of the day, love, freedom, all that stuff is because we want peace. We want unity. Why do we like sex so much? It's because it's the closest physical thing to unity. You're literally having another human being as close as possible to you. You're entering another human being. So yeah, that was my rant for today. I hope it inspired you. I hope you're going to think about faith for now. Maybe use the power of faith and thoughts and like love and all that stuff so that you can reach God consciousness. You tell the universal subconscious mind, God, all this kind of like a pure consciousness, all that stuff. You ask it, or you ask him to help you get there, to God consciousness. And you relax into it. Try transcendental meditation, all that kind of shit. Experiment with it. I'm gonna give you what I'm learning, of course, throughout the way, but do it with me. Because I think this is like the superior self-improvement. It's God improvement. Oops. That's it for today. Don't forget to work on the no wait, don't forget. I'm forgetting my own my own slogan. Work on the inside and the outside will follow. Take care, man. Johnny. I'm not doing the bang anymore. I want to walk out and making a little fade in black, just relaxing. I know you like it. See ya, man.